Howdy folks, Election Night with Shepp and Thommo, the show that's all about sporting weekends, the weekend warriors and the weekend clubs. Brought to you by Viva Teamwear, the teamwear that's the most comfortable to wear. So if you want your performers, your star performers on the weekend to perform at their best, then Viva Teamwear is just for you. Podcast bubble for the last week, in training, so to speak. We've been out and about speaking with clubs, watching sport and engaging with the public. We've gotten out of the studios here at Ozsports Radio. And as you know, we're still hunting for Shepp and Thommo's Club Legend of the Year. And show sponsor Rebel Sport have chipped in with a trophy and prize pack. So continue your nominations and bring them in. I'll be having a bit of a chat later. One of the Central Coast's true legends, Barry Howard, later on in the show. And we will, as always, if you like the show, help us out by letting your mates know. We're here to talk about your Saturday sport, your Sunday sport, you know, the local sport, grassroots, and anything to help build a platform for your club. Good evening, Thommo. I don't know about you, mate, but I've missed us, mate.
Yes, mate. I missed last week. We've burst out of our bubble.
We have,
and we're back into it. Yeah, no, looking forward to tonight. With we've got Shepp and Thommo's footy tips coming up, which is always very humorous. And
don't go with our tips.
No, definitely not. I wouldn't go with them. And we've got the soccer wrap up from Shepp, and I'll give a bit of a wrap up about amateur league footy and club legends tonight. Yeah, as Mick's just mentioned, we'll touch on Barry Howard. And then we're actually on the hunt at the moment for correspondents for different sports, because we know a fair bit about cricket, we know a little bit about footy and a little bit about soccer, but there's a lot of other sports out there that we'd love to touch on. And if people can add some input into our podcast here, it'll be really, really helpful.
So if you know about netball, if you know about rugby league in your particular area, if you want to talk about Iceland cricket, if you want to talk about the Saturday League in England.
Yeah, or even indoor cricket.
Absolutely.
If you play indoor cricket every week and you think you've got something to add to the show, get in contact with us on Facebook and let us know, and we'll add you into the show.
Absolutely. And tonight's guest is none other than Bruce Stribley.
Yes, correct. I just forgot.
Was it on the sheet?
It was on the sheet. Your sheet was actually up to date, Mick, so well done.
Don't know about that.
Bruce, welcome, Bruce.
Thank you, gentlemen.
No worries. Thank you.
Bruce is a bit of a netball guru, and he's also a cricket umpire like ourselves. So we're keeping it very in-house at the moment with our guests, but we will expand.
We strive to work with our strengths. Let's just say that.
That's it. We'll get to Bruce a bit later, but we've got Brad Smith on the line.
Yes, brought to you by Blue Steel Cricket, our Northwest New South Wales correspondent. Brad, how you going?
Good, thanks, boys. How are we?
Very good. How's life up in northern New South Wales, brother?
Mate, it's bitter cold.
Yeah.
We had a couple of minuses, -7 a couple of nights ago. So.
Oh, wow.
That's brutal.
-7?
Yeah, a bit tough getting out of bed. Yeah.
Mate.
You'd open the fridge and get warm.
Yeah.
Well, that's right, mate. Yeah, that's I went to uni up here, and they used to put the beers on the windowsill. So,
bloody hell.
The fridge was colder. On the windowsill, that is sensational. I love it. Now, mate, you're not involved in any lockdowns at the moment? It hasn't spread out to you.
No, not any lockdowns per se. We've got to wear masks and things like that. So that should be interesting. We'll go back to work next week. So stocked up. Got to wear them for baseball this week when we're in the dugouts and things like that. So I'll struggle to breathe as it is. So should make life a bit more interesting.
So when you're out in the field, you don't need the mask, but when you're in the dugout, you need the mask.
Yeah, apparently, yeah, because you're in the 1.5 proximity.
Yep.
So.
Okay.
Yep. Fair enough.
We've got to do what we can do, I think, out in the public.
Yep.
Try and stop the spread. This virus is it's pretty ruthless.
Yeah.
If it finds an avenue, it'll definitely walk down it.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's finding new ways to transform, isn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely.
It is.
So what's been going up in those regions, big fella?
No, we've had another couple of washouts, funnily enough.
Bloody hell. We used to say that nothing like the cricket season to bring on end of the drought. But it could
that's
be
right.
The start of Shepp and Thommo's podcast to break the drought.
Yes, yeah.
No, to stop the rain. We need to stop the rain so they can play.
Yeah.
So we had a washout a couple of weeks ago, and then our ground got washed out. The A grade ground got washed out, but B grade went ahead. There's supposed to be an umpires course in Sydney, but that got canned.
Wow, of course.
Because of the COVID.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But the Warriors played Pandas Black in the B grade, and the Cougars White took on their club mates at Cougars Maroon, but I don't have any. I've checked a fair far and wide, but I haven't come up with any results for those games.
So it mustn't have been worth crowing about if they didn't put them up.
There was a newspaper article about it, but no score results. So might have to have a word to them there. But so this week we'll see us in Armidale. So the Outlaws have a home game, which is nice.
A home game. So how often do they roll around? Do you play
3 times a year?
Wow. So you got to travel almost every other week. 3 home games a year that's pretty hard.
Yes.
And so I imagine the travel. It's a fair bit of travel involved in your area.
Yeah, it's an hour and a half each way.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Hard yards, mate.
And you did that for cricket
it is,
too,
mate. Yeah, so I've been doing that for cricket for the last 5 years as well. So I'll give that away this year though.
So is there an Armidale cricket competition?
Yeah, there is. I played in it prior to playing in Tamworth for a few years.
Yep.
So I think it's a 5-team competition. So
right. So you'll look to dominate there, I'd assume.
Oh, I don't know about dominate yet, but I'll definitely try nudge a few around.
That's it.
That's for sure. There's 5 teams, including Guy, which is about 40 kilometres away. So that's about as far as we'll have to go. And it's a pretty good deck down there at Guy. The guys do a good job there. So
yep.
It's all turf cricket?
Yeah, all turf cricket, first and second grade.
Wow.
And then third grade, some of it's turf, depending on availability of grounds.
Yep. Nice.
Yeah.
So and this is at your ground that you built at Armidale, is that right?
In Armidale, yes.
Nice.
That's about the University of New England.
Very good.
In our little field of dreams, we've just done a bit of maintenance on it to try and get it up ready for this weekend. So so B grade we have to make like a temporary field.
Yep.
As we only have the one, so the whole competition's coming up, which is fantastic. So all of A grade and all of B grade. So in B grade, Cougars White will take on Pandas Black, and then Cougars Maroon will take on Pandas Pink. And actually, the Warriors have the bye. Yep. That should be a couple of good games. And then in A grade, we was taking on the Warriors first up, and then have to back that up against Cougars in the afternoon. So
big day for you.
Pretty cold. Yeah, it is. It gets pretty cold during the back end of that afternoon game too. So that's where that hometown advantage comes in as well. So
yeah, absolutely.
All good, mate.
Straight into the hot shower.
Yeah, that's it.
So have
you guys go.
So I was just going to say, so have you got your tactics lined up for who's pitching? Are you playing you'll be pitching the first game, I'd assume, then, to stay away from the cool afternoon?
Yeah, we'll see how we go. Well, if I pitch the first game, normally not much shot by the back end of the second. So
yeah,
but I just we're just going to try out a few guys. I think a guy named Cam Peterson, he threw a bullpen today, which is just just practicing pitching. It's called a bullpen in baseball.
Yep.
At training yesterday, and I was pretty impressed with what he was doing there. I'd like to see him take the mound at some point. We've only got the bare 9 for the 2 games.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so it's going to be a tough old haul.
Yeah.
And I'm not 100%. Another guy's not 100%.
Right.
Just trying to nurse ourselves ready for the country championships in about 4 weeks' time. So
how's the weather looking for this weekend? Is it looking better?
Yeah, it says 96% chance of rain tomorrow, and a lot of it, I think. But it should be, hopefully, if there's not too much, it'll clear up and be right for Saturday. Yeah.
Well, hopefully. It'll keep the grassy areas and the where you're sliding a little bit softer, so it won't take bark off. If it's hard and dry, it'd be a bit more dangerous.
Yeah, well, we've just got a fresh layer of dirt this season, so it's not too bad at the moment. So
nice.
That was provided by the University of New England. So thanks to shout out to the guys at Sport UNE for doing that for us.
Yes, very good. Thank you.
Yeah, but that's pretty good. We've got some players to watch, I guess. So for players for the Armidale Outlaws, probably Keegan Bird. He's really red hot with the bat at the moment.
Yep.
The just talking to some guys from other clubs at the reps, are like, we don't know where to throw to him. So
Yeah,
they
okay.
what to throw to him. So he's hitting the ball pretty well.
Yep.
Guy named Tim Boyd. He's from Newcastle originally. He's up in Glenminiss now. He's a pretty good player all round. He catches for us, can pitch as well.
Yep.
I'd probably say he's nearly our number one pitcher at the moment as well.
Very nice.
And then Tam Peterson. Now I'm looking forward to seeing him pitch on the weekend too. So he's only just recently come back.
Yep.
He was doing some home renovations and took the guard off a saw. So his father-in-law, who's an Ando, had to come and pick him up. So,
wow.
Oh, no good.
Yeah, not much chop there, but probably got Andrew Ferris and Ben Widgell for the Cougars. Ben's a good young player, and Andrew Ferris is a bit of an old hat, still very much a fantastic player.
So you guys would all know each other pretty well, I would imagine.
Yeah, and most of the guys that I'm mentioning here, we all play reps together as well a couple of times a year. And, there's good competitiveness, but you don't like to annoy people too much because you have to see them too often. So.
It makes sledging more difficult. Because
yeah, that's right.
If I'm playing against a mate of mine who I know, I'm not getting under his skin by telling him he's got pressure on him or saying some throwaway line that's going to upset him because he knows I'm taking the piss. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're not serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
he'll know when you have a go at something he might have done or might not have done.
He knows what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, you need to be personal about it.
Defeats
if you
the
know
purpose.
people.
Absolutely. Yeah. But, you still want to beat them. There's no
That's
question.
right.
Absolutely. Oh, best of luck this weekend, Brad.
Yeah, good luck with getting the ground up.
Yeah,
Hope
absolutely.
It's all good.
And so I'm looking forward to hearing how the Field of Dreams plays next week.
Yeah,
I think
it looks pretty patchy, if I'm honest.
Right. Well, you'll have to send us a photo so we can put it on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. And then
I'll go into the archives and show you what it once was before we made it into a field. It was just an empty paddock. So,
absolutely.
That'd be great, mate.
That would be fantastic. Yeah, we'll share the love. That's for sure.
Give our listeners something to have a look at and
Yep.
And see what we've been talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. No worries. Well, we'll leave you there, Brad. Thank you very much again, Soldier, for giving us the update in the northern New South Wales region. And we'll talk to you again next week.
Look forward to it.
No
Thanks,
worries,
Brad.
Cheers, mate. Best of luck for the weekend.
Right. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
All good.
Alrighty.
Selection Night with Shepp and Thommo. Sponsored by Viva Team Wear, your first choice for sportswear.
And Bruce Stribley, our main man. How we are?
He's been sitting back, listening, paying attention, which is unlike Bruce. He's usually talking his mouth off. But yeah, anyway.
You know me too well. Yeah. Don't mind the spin a yarn. But,
and that's one of the reasons why we thought of you for this show, because you don't mind having a bit to say, Bruce, which is great.
Well,
absolutely.
Absolutely. Involving yourself in conversation.
You two gentlemen will understand coming from a wicket-keeping background.
Absolutely.
You always have a bit of a chat.
Oh, the bloody keepers union's at it again.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yep.
I think the first time we were playing in the umpires game you were keeping, Bruce. Yeah, that was we're going back
Mick
a while.
Might have. I
was
didn't see
keeping?
Bruce keep.
I'm not sure if I've actually kept in a Crockett Shield game.
Right.
We
might have talked.
Sorry,
yeah.
in the practice games I may have, yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
there
in
you
a
go.
couple of the practice games I may have.
Yeah.
And
So-
didn't mind sledging my own teammates. When
Absolutely.
you're talking about that before, I don't mind sledging teammates.
See, I don't think we have to pay much attention to introducing Bruce. I reckon he's sorting that out pretty quickly by himself. Look, Bruce is a very, very good first grade umpire. He's won a umpire of the year before.
Yeah, 2013, I think it was.
Yes.
And this is cricket umpiring.
Cricket umpiring, yes.
Yeah.
And he's also, go on, Bruce. Tell us.
Netball?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, heavily involved. Love cricket in the summer, netball in the winter. And I guess that started from the teenage years. I got introduced to netball as a teenager with two younger sisters who participated in netball to go out and watch my sister's friends, obviously, participate.
I need to get my son to listen to this, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Well, hey, it didn't make any difference. I think I married the sport rather than anyone playing it. But it was those sort of things, and this team was, I thought, quite reasonable, but they hadn't won a game for a couple of years. And I think I was in year 12, or matriculation back in those days, and I got talked out to coach them that year, but I coached them the following year. And I coached them as though I was coached in hockey and footy and stuff. And, girls times went home crying, but they all rocked up on Saturday, which to me was the key indicator. And as the first year...
So that was the line in the sand.
Ah, yes.
They might go home from training crying,
yep.
But if they rocked up on the weekend, you hadn't really crossed it.
Oh, absolutely,
yep.
Absolutely. And their mothers hadn't rung me, so I must be doing something right.
Yep.
But there's only 1 week I remember we had a girl across the road who used to be our goalkeeper, and she used to love cats. And there was one wet night, we're going up to training, and I skittled this cat. Uh-oh. And the girl, she ran off the training and let all the rest of the team know that Bruce has just run over a cat. Not my fault, but I shouldn't have cheered about killing the cat and talking about it falling off the footpath into the gutter, blood running out of its mouth. But by the time I got to training, I was arch enemy number one. All the girls forgets me that night, so that was a hard night.
I could imagine.
So I think it was in the first year. But as I said, we finished fourth at the end of the minor round, got to the grand final, which we'd lost, and it just continued from there.
Nice. To take a team that hadn't won in so long to a grand final is
good
a
effort.
Great effort.
Absolutely. No, that was long. Very many years ago now. And as I said, I think then I continued with it. Then year 3, we got to the finals again.
Yep.
Knocked off the semi-final team, knocked off the prelim final team, got to the grand final against the same team that beat us 2 years prior. And instead of just training once that week, we trained 3 times, and it was all built on revenge. Come out on the Saturday, and we've absolutely belted this side. First time we've beaten them, and I was a little bit more aggressive in those days, and I certainly let the team know that we were the winners and they were so low.
This is after the game had finished?
Oh, during.
Oh, okay.
They actually had it was a funny incident. They had one of their girls sent off because she threw the ball at me.
Wow.
She got sent off the court. Oh, bad. That was a bit of bad luck.
Yep.
But, and that's life. And then... and I don't think it's too much changed now. I was standing on the sideline and an umpire didn't turn up, and I said, I can umpire. And that's where my umpire journey started.
This is netball.
That's where my netball umpiring started. I umpired this game, and I won't mention the politician's name, but I sent off a daughter of a politician one day because she challenged me. So, see you later, love. You're on your bike. So, but I think it was a power trip back in those days. I've got no doubt about that. It was just. But now, when coming through development squads and training and development and this sort of thing, so you had to change. Same with my coaching. The coaching style has changed now.
Yeah. So you coach the netball umpires, is that right?
I mentor many of the netball umpires. I find that fantastic.
Yeah.
We're not amateurs, but I think South Australia now have got number 1 ranked umpire. So from last year in Australia, so I mean that's a good deal. It's watching how they develop, and even students or teenagers these days who are showing interest in umpiring, and to help them develop through their badges, their C badges, through to their A badge. Or I'm not sure except for the AA umpire, the All Australian umpire, but I don't think I've really got anyone to A badge, certainly B badges, but then you get into the Premier League competition here in Adelaide and develop your skills to get an A badge.
Yeah, right. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's a badge of honour to you as well, getting...
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I just enjoy doing it, particularly when the inexperienced umpire shows great interest and they have great potential.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's quite easy to develop them. Others, and all sorts of umpires... develop at different levels and they stay at different levels, and that's fine as well.
Yep.
And it's one of the things I enjoy about netball is the rule book will protect you against whatever your ability's at. Something can happen, and the 3 different levels of umpires, the high class, the middle class and the low class umpire, can all call an infringement differently, but the rule book says you're correct. Each umpire is correct. It allows you to do that, which is, I think, is pretty good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the discipline of the sport.
I mean, that's very similar to cricket in a way. Like people find their ceiling in cricket, and that's where it is.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of people keep breaking those ceilings and going through and above. And as we mentioned last week, or not last week, the week before on the show, Eloise getting on the development panel for CA. Like that's sensational. That's her breaking through another ceiling that was there, and like she's just continued to break ceilings nearly every season.
Yeah,
which a lot of umpires can't do. You get to a certain point, and that's your level. But as long as you enjoy it and you love doing it, that's why you umpire in the end.
Absolutely, and you come back to that. I was going to say C word. C word. Consistency.
Yeah.
And I think you're all coaches here.
Yeah.
We find that a bad umpire. Oh, that's probably a way to put it. An umpire that maybe not has the skills, if they apply their skill level consistently to both sides, coaches should be happy.
Yeah, correct.
Yep.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
That's a really good
Funny you should say that, because in the game that I was coaching last weekend, I was standing in the coach's box and I was pretty much talking to my opposition coach, and we were agreeing that the referee was making similar mistakes, but it was even across both teams, and neither of us were having a crack at the umpire, at the referee, because it was, he was just doing his best, and it was consistent for both teams.
Yeah, and that's been in the media a bit lately. Is the abuse of umpires has to cease.
Yep.
And I think people have to be aware that they're playing sport at a level, and sometimes that level is not going to give them the best officiator that there is on a Saturday or a Friday night or a Sunday or whenever it is that the game's on.
But part of my role as a mentor, you go round to courts and you listen to parents talking about the game, about the refs and their kids, and you just go like, have you ever? And I often have a rule book in my back pocket, and I said, you ever read one of these? And quite often you find they haven't.
Yep.
And I've got a lot of stories in that regard, and one's, I won't mention the story, and I certainly won't mention names, but I had a primary school headmaster one day, and I was actually umpiring this game, and it's a well-known sporting name in Adelaide. Anyway, I didn't know he was a headmaster at this stage, but he used to bag and carry on and this sort of stuff, and then I found out that he was a headmaster of a primary school here in Adelaide. So I said to him one day when he was barking, I said, mate, if I was umpiring this in your schoolyard, would you be behaving like this? And from then he just shut up, picked up his chair and moved to the other side of the court. And I think and it's quite right. You know,
just put it into context, didn't
absolutely.
you?
Yeah, absolutely. However, it might have been an outlet for him.
Yeah.
But I mean, just like me at the footy. I mean, I've had a few people who won't go to the footy with me anymore. And
I have heard that.
Am I allowed to mention names? You know, like...
Well, it's up to you.
Of course you are.
Oh, Richard Williams. Now, I remember for years I used to bag this guy called Richard Williams, SANFL and AFL umpire.
Yeah.
And then I've had the pleasure to meet him now through cricket. And he's just the top bloke.
Yeah.
He's just the nicest bloke. And I actually told him the story one day. I'd stand on the hill and I'm saying, oh, come on, Rich, give us a go. And in fact, being a Sturt man, we had T-shirts made up about the Richard Williams fan club, the Sturt boys. And his wife's the one who brought it to my attention one day. She said, oh, yeah, these people at Sturt, they made these T-shirts about the Richard Williams fan club. But fan was pretty loose. Anyway,
we get the sarcasm, Bruce.
Okay. And anyway, she was telling me this, and I'm going, oh, I'm feeling guilt, and I just had to confess, I own one. And that's what I said. And I asked her then, I said, I think Richard would sign mine, because I still got it in the bottom, it's a bit ragged now, but he said, sure he would.
Because it was well worn, obviously.
We wore it well. But he's...
You may get a chance for Richard to sign that. Apparently he is going to be a cricket umpire.
Oh, good. I mean, and that's the sort of thing this is a thing like when you take bias to sport, whether it's kids or Sturt Footy Club or or whatever, you have a bias. And now,
Yeah.
Of course you do.
And when you met
Yeah.
Richard and through cricket, I know it's a different sport, but through cricket and the work that he did for the cricket club that he's associated with, he is a top bloke. He's the nicest bloke.
Yeah,
wouldn't
he
hurt a
is.
fly,
He's a great
and he would
bloke.
help everybody.
Yeah.
And here I am. I
Yeah.
just go back to the mound here at Ungley Oval, and you go.
But I guess one of the things that the players don't really take into account as well is that the umpires and the referees, it's their Saturday and Sunday sport too.
Yeah.
You know,
and you
for
guys
sure.
understand cricket umpiring
Yeah.
is perfect for that. You know, we're
Yeah.
22 yards away and we're seeing it from one point. Whatever happens from one point. We make a decision from that point. We can't generally confer with our square leg umpire who may have a better idea than we do.
Yeah.
We make a decision and we run with it.
Yeah. But we own it as well.
Yeah.
And I think
of course you do.
I think that's the real big key in officiating is that you own your decisions.
Yeah.
You live and die by them. You have to.
Well, I find in cricket particularly, honesty is the best policy.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, if you make an error, and, be brave enough to say, I think I may have got that wrong, but this is how I saw it at the time. I've made my decision.
Maybe sometimes the timing, you have to be careful with
for sure.
how you put that across.
Yeah.
You don't want to go diving into that in the middle of the oval when all heat's on.
Yeah. I mean, I remember back in one of my early days, I've called a wide when a guy hit it, and it was one of those things like the ball was well off the pitch. So I'm going, really early preparation, that's going to be a wide, but the batsman threw his bat at it and snicked it. I'm going, now what do I do? I've already called it wide, And but actually both sides, they were brilliant because I just said, I think I got that one wrong, and you say it wrong. And
Did he get caught?
Hey? Oh, yeah, he was out.
So did you give it out or
No.
you called it a wide?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've learned
Well
from
done,
it.
Bruce.
I've stayed with my original decision, stayed with the original decision, and now I realise that if it's happening now, I just go, I'm going to change my decision.
Yeah, I'm
See you
wrong.
later, bud.
Yeah.
I mean, the batsman had the choice to walk as well, I suppose, but
Yep.
but that's the sort of thing, and I'm
Oh,
allowed to mention who
I'll
I was
tell you-
umpiring with. I think it was Mick Ayworth. I think I was,
Yeah. Yeah,
I
of
think
course
I was
you can.
umpiring with Mick Ayworth.
Yep.
And I think he was trying to make me feel better. And he says, Bruce, I've got really good ears, but I don't think he hit it. I'm going, I don't think so, Mick. I reckon he belted it.
I guess that could be
Trying to
another...
make you feel better.
Oh, yeah. And Mick was good in that regard.
Yeah.
So,
Mick's a good bloke.
Yeah.
And that's another little byline on a topic as well, is I found that blokes will walk when there's no official umpire, but as soon as there's an official umpire,
No way.
the walking stops
Oh, yeah.
straight away.
We're out there paid to do a job. We've
Yeah,
got to take that on board.
you do. Absolutely.
Yeah. And again, as long as, and this is what I've found over my journey with cricket umpiring, if you're just saying, here's all the information and I have it at my disposal to make my decision, most captains, I think, accept that.
Yep. Yep.
I don't think I've been really hauled over the coals in cricket umpiring, or netball umpiring for that matter, but that much. But I do remember, it's funny, so some of my netball stories are really funny. So I mentioned the players' names, and a lot of the girls now, they weren't born. I got a couple of questions. Am I allowed to mention names? Kathy?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Catherine Harvey.
Yeah.
She's an Australian captain now.
Yeah.
I was a developing umpire. I had my B badge. I'm developing my umpiring to an A badge level. I was umpiring. It was a scratch match. It was a training match.
Yeah.
Anyway, first quarter, I made an incorrect call on a throw-in on a scratch match, and the two players involved, Sarah Sutter and Catherine Harvey, and they've just given it to me. Brrr, I'm going, okay, fair enough. I didn't think much of it until the third quarter. Sarah was laughing about it, but Catherine was still hammering me on this one decision, on a throw-in. I mean, it wasn't even a contact. It wasn't a serious infringement. It was a throw-in. Anyway, Catherine Harvey was still hammering me on this one decision. Funny, her brother, incidentally, was the lawyer at work. We were at work a couple of years back. I told him that story, and he apologised. I said, mate, you don't need to apologise. Yeah. But no, there again, Catherine Harvey, she's an Australian captain, commentator now.
Yeah.
So, truly a great Australian sports person.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, as you know, Bruce, that you're on the Selection Night podcast with Shepp and Thommo, and we've got Tangles, our esteemed producer, here with us.
Yes.
We know you as Stribles as well. Do you have any other nicknames, or have you earned a few other nicknames throughout the years?
I know all through schools I used to be called, it started as knee-high to a grasshopper. Then it was just grasshopper.
Yeah, because you are a bit vertically challenged. We all know that.
Grown a bit lately. But, and then it shortened to GH. So that all through school. We never used to call, we were the same class, first year, second year, year 8, year 9, year 10.
Yeah,
we were the same class. And no one used to address each other as their names. It was always nicknames.
Yep.
So, and because we knew each other so well. So it was always GH or grasshopper.
Yep.
But then now it's just Stribs.
Yep.
Stribs.
Generally,
Yeah.
Depends who wants to call you something.
Bruce. That can often be used as a derogatory term,
but
can't it?
nicknames.
They call me Bruce.
Even my niece and nephews, they don't call me Uncle Bruce. It's Bruce.
Same.
But everyone takes the piss out of the Bruce anyway, don't they?
That's an Australian thing.
Yeah. So you live with that. That doesn't worry much. Anyway, names and stuff, I generally don't worry about it anymore. I don't get upset. You just go, yeah, fair enough. Unfortunately, I was always bored. I remember one of my first coaches always used to say to me, if you get hit, never retaliate. You'll get a chance to even the score. And unfortunately, when I try and even the score, I probably haven't got the tact to even the score. Sometimes I regret.
And it comes out a bit blunt.
Yeah, or I regret it later, what I do say.
Yeah.
I don't mean it. That's the thing. Sometimes, and that's the hardest thing about maturing, is you're realising and thinking about what you need to say. Even as a ref, even as an umpire. We don't do that. We have frustrating things out there, and that's what I often say to the netball players in particular, and cricketers at times, but certainly netball players. I'm saying I can handle frustration. So if you say something in frustration, I can handle that. But if you make it personal, I can't.
And if you carry on,
certainly.
and if they keep it going and keep it going and keep it going, it's like. And that's enough.
Yeah.
And you've got to let them know that that's enough. And
but I think, the three of us here, I think we're in cricket, we're probably pretty experienced, and captains know that, and so they know what our limits are. But I've had a few, and I won't mention names obviously, but I've had a few where they were going at me, and I've just had the hand up going whoa, and all of a sudden you see them stop in the track. Turn around, and off they go.
because they know they've nearly gone over that line.
But I think one of the more recent reports that I've made in cricket, the guy was personal because he's used my name, so it's personal. When he copped 3 games,
Yeah, right.
So making it personal, and he continued to tell us a bit of a story. But what can you do? We don't want to. That's the thing. We don't want to report. And same as netball. Netball's got great discipline part in the rule book now. It's stipulated what you need to do. It never used to be there. It always used to be the umpire's discretion. Now it's written. It's great, and we don't want to use it. But we can say, "Hey, mate, you've driven me to it." Eventually, it's like soccer and stuff where you can just go, "Yep, you got 2 minutes on the sideline. You've been carded. You've been suspended."
Yep. I guess from my perspective, I like to solve it on the field.
Oh, if we can.
If you can solve it on the field, solve it on the field. But if it's got to come off the field and we'll talk about it on Wednesday, we're talking about it on Wednesday.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I know. This is going back years now where I shouldn't really talk about the incident in case he's listening.
No, it's fine. Go on.
Where a batsman's run out and a metre and a half run out. Like it wasn't even close, really. I had Gary Putland next to me, and he's going, whoa, shit, because this batsman's turned and ran at me with the bat above his head. And I was going, and totally out of character.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely totally out of character. I'm going, oh, shit, whoa. So, anyway, he's in the book, obviously. In fact, it's funny because in this game, he was a fast bowler, but all 3 fast bowlers were on report out of this game.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, I'm going, wow. Anyway, I wrote the report that he didn't in the report, and I wouldn't do this now, but I wrote the report a bit softer than it was. But, batsman running at me with a bat above his head,
It's hard to soften that, Bruce.
Yeah, it is hard to soften
I didn't talk about the bat above his head. Chasing me.
You did soften it then.
Yeah, but the incident, but when you get bound to it, I got to the Adelaide Oval, because back in those days, everyone went to tribunal.
Yep.
So at the Adelaide Oval, I drove into the Adelaide Oval, parked my car, and he's sitting on the steps.
Yep.
And I'm going, here we go again. It'd be round 2 here. But no, I got out of the court, and he was mild-mannered, and he said, we let it park in here. And I said, well, I generally do for tribunals. Yep. Not that I had that many, but I don't want to make sure I'm the reporting umpire. But he said, and we were just talking peacefully things. He knew what happened and sort of stuff. And I think he got suspended, but I think it was No, you missed the game, but I think it was suspended, something like that.
Right,
But again, nature of the report and the nature of the relationship between umpire and player, because it was a totally, and I'll tell you later who the bloke was, but totally out of character.
Yeah.
So, but I wouldn't do that now. So anyone who is listening, don't be fooled. I wouldn't be doing that. Now it's just putting it on the fact. We've got to report the incidents. If we go that far, we've got to report the incident.
And I suppose what we have to take into account now is that everything's getting filmed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're always
true.
being watched by someone, somewhere.
Yep.
And a player will come back and go, well, hang on, why are you reporting me for that when last week you let this guy get away with this? And
And the other thing too is, we're coaching umpires too, that we've got to report the incident.
Yes.
And all aspects of the incident, not the player.
Yeah, it's
the
not
incident,
the player.
The incident, because if it doesn't get nipped in the bud in 1 week, someone else has got to deal with it the following week.
Yeah, correct.
Correct. Absolutely true.
And as I say, Adelaide's a small part. Whatever happens will get round pretty quick around
yeah.
Adelaide.
Absolutely.
As I had a couple of phone calls from a coach years ago, numerous times one season. Well, this happened. And the coach quoted the incident, word perfect. Yeah, absolutely word perfect. Why didn't you report? Oh, we had a chat to the guy.
Yeah.
There was other reasons, but yeah. That was good. That's just good communication from the coach.
Yeah.
And it's certainly a learning for me in our umpiring.
So, what is coming up in, just to change the subject a bit,
Let's get back on the netball, hey?
Back on the netball.
Yes.
What is coming up in netball, Bruce?
Yeah, okay. Well,
and who's to watch out for in the competition and stuff?
Just one incident, change. Like this week was supposed to be the state under-17s and under-19s playing their underage national championships in Hobart. But obviously that got canned, just as last year's got canned. But the South Australian under-17s, they've won the last 4 championships. So that's a sensational effort from some of those guys. And some of those guys have started getting into the higher competition, the Suncorp. Oh, we let them mention names. Suncorp competition.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
They don't pay for it, so I guess it's for free.
Our under-19s, they won the last ones in 2019.
Yep.
They won that. So, we haven't been able to defend those competitions. The Premier League competition, we've got our perennial teams, the Contacts and Matrix.
Yep.
They look like they may play it off again. Certainly in the Premier League, the top 4, I'm suggesting, is set. There's only 3 games to go. And the 5th team is 5 points away. Semi-finals 6th of August, prelim finals the 13th of August, the grand final the 20th of August. So, certainly come out and tickets through Ticketmaster and come out and watch any of those 3 weeks. But the reserves division, is a bit closer. The 5th team is on. Oh no, the 5th team is on equal points to the 4th team. So that's still to be decided.
Oh, that's good.
So that's in the Premier League, and then when you talk about the next competition down, the Adelaide Metropolitan competition on a Saturday, they're in the top 3. So the AMD League grade, Matrix and Contacts are there, but also Walkerville, which is it's probably be a great story for you guys to get onto, is the Walkerville Netball Club.
Yep.
I think a lot of the girls on Saturdays used to come out and watch boyfriends play footy, and they just watch the footy. So they've organised to participate in netball. And now, as they say, they're pushing. They're a very successful club. They're pushing hard in all these divisions. And as I say, they're second, equal with Contacts, 3 percentage points behind, but equal on 20 points, only with the 1 loss each with Contacts. So Walkerville would be a team to look at. And I'd say that'd be an example
good story.
of the Walkerville Netball Club.
Yep.
In A grade, they're sitting 4th, and that was a pretty fair team when we played those.
Yep.
I go to the Inter Ones, so we're talking about the 17-year-olds. No, but I'd say unfortunately that's a slip of the tongue there. But again, Contacts Matrix are up there. But then you got Metro Jets and Oakdale. So again, Metro Jets is probably another team that we could you could talk about from the western suburbs.
Yeah.
I think the president is still Rachel McLeod. So Andrew McLeod's. So there's another avenue. We could talk about how she has put a destination for Metro Jets. You look at the junior ones, the 15-year-olds. You got Contacts Oakdale and Matrix and Garville. Well, they are Garville. Used to be a another team that was up there back in the 80s and 90s?
Yeah.
Fight it's between Contacts and Garvel. Oh,
Yeah.
they were sensational games in netball. And that's what there's one thing that annoys me when you go to the footy and they're saying you play like netball. They don't understand.
No.
Netball is a highly physical game.
Yeah.
And you're allowed to bump, you're allowed to do this, but you're not allowed to interfere. The word we do when we umpire is interfere.
Yeah.
Interfere with what you're doing to your opponent. It's an infringement. However, it is highly physical.
I played mixed netball indoors when I was playing a lot of indoor cricket, and it was brutal.
It's a hard
I'm a
sport,
big guy, and the umpire said to me in a ball up, it's a ball up where you kind of have both players have the ball, and then the umpire comes in and throws the ball up.
Yeah,
and I got told...
We tried not to have toss-ups in netball if we can help it.
Okay.
It's in the rule book, but in my rule book, I've crossed it out.
Okay.
So, we don't have
Well,
toss-ups
this is
if
going
we
back
can.
a few years
Okay,
when I was fit enough to play it, but they said, Mick, you got to be careful here, right? Just be, a bit casual. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to, hurt anybody. But she blew the whistle, ball went up. By the time I reacted, it was gone. They were gone. I was standing there thinking, what just happened? And
why did I need to back off?
I didn't need to
What
do
about
that.
them backing off?
Yeah, but I umpire, and that's one thing in mixed that I'm not a big fan of mixed netball, but I remember a game I umpired, a grand final at Unga High School one day, and I knew all the girls in this side.
Yep.
I didn't know the guys at all. And the girls were saying, "Oh, Bruce," they're talking away. Anyway, the game starts, and they had this one guy who thought he knew everything. And I've given him numerous chances, but by quarter time, he was sitting on the pine.
Yeah.
And the girls is going, we knew it was coming. But I'm thinking, it's an education, and that's the sort of thing, umpires or referees, it's a communication process. It's an education. I gave him plenty of opportunity, but he was just a hero. And he was one of this sort of stuff. But in mixed, I've had just as much problem with girls in mixed netball. They think they can get away with stuff.
Yep.
But you think, guys, you got to settle down. It's an education here because the guys have generally not much idea.
I'd agree
so
with
they're either footballers or they don't have any idea, and they don't want to hurt anyone.
Nobody.
Not a big fan there, but they're the fans. But the only other thing, the other thing that we could promote or would love to promote is the country championships.
Yeah.
In June long weekend each year, we have the country championships where teams all over the state come and play. Here and
whereabouts?
Netball SA Stadium.
Netball SA Stadium. Okay.
I get told that things, but you get this sort of stuff, and again, you get teams from down the southeast, Roxby Downs, Broken Hill, Sejuna, Far West, I think they're called now. But and it's fantastic, and it's a great competition. Again, we develop our umpires on that, and the successful umpires get the opportunity to umpire the grand finals. It's usually a sensational weekend.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. You play your regular competition games, and then you have the big country championships and get together, and most of the excitement happens after 5 o'clock.
As a lot of
those things.
You'll hear in my wrap-up that a lot of the football associations are having a week off this week, and those games are being played. Yeah, for sure. Shall we move into that at the moment? Yes, we got to move on. And Bruce, if you feel during the podcast that you can add something, mate, chip in, for sure.
Yeah.
We're happy to have you.
I think most people know that I'm pretty passionate about the teams and things.
Absolutely.
And I'm just looking out the window now, and the lights at Unley Oval are still on, which means the Double Blues are still training hard.
Good to hear. Well, the first one we'll look at this week is the River Murray Football League.
And this is the Google Podcasts footy wrap-up.
Oh, the Google Podcast footy wrap-up.
Yes,
Sorry, I missed that. Sorry. When you're trying to find out where to listen to us, that's one of the ones you can go through.
That's it.
So in the River Murray, we've got Taylor Bend and Jervois at the top, and then you got Manham on 8 wins. They've both got 11 wins out of 12 games, so they're sitting up the top there. And Manham are third with 8 wins. The Imperials are then fourth with 6 wins. Now, last week, Jervois played the Imperials and beat them pretty convincingly, 9 goals. Josh Scott, again, had a day out, kicked 4. And then we had Manham, who are third, playing the Ramblers, who are fifth. And they won pretty convincingly by 6 goals. And Tailem Bend, the top of the table, Tailem Bend played the bottom of the table, Meningie, and I'm afraid it was 24-20 to 2-2. So Meningie got their asses absolutely handed to them. And there were 11 goal scorers from Tailem Bend, so they shared it all around. I think the top goal scorer was 4, and then it was pretty even across the board. So
I guess that makes it really hard to defend.
Yeah.
You know, if you got one target, you can defend that, but if you're getting goal scorers from everywhere...
They definitely shared it about. I think they probably did share it about because they were probably had it all over Meningie. But the big news in the River Murray Football League next week, when they come back, is Jervois are playing Tailem Bend at Jervois. So I would imagine the Jervois boys will be looking to secure a top spot there with a win over Tailem Bend. So that'll be good. We might talk more about that next week. Yep. I might try and get the inside word from my nephew Tate Silverlock, who coaches Jervois.
Yep. Avoided the Oval, I reckon.
Yeah. I don't know. Jervois might like a nice dry deck, I reckon. Yes. If they move anything like my nephew,
true,
pretty quick across the ground. So, so we'll talk more about that next week. Now, what's been happening in Hills footy is,
and we've got a announcement too with regards to Hills footy.
We have got an announcement, but can we just go through the Hills Divi 1 first, and then we'll talk about the announcement for next week.
I'm just excited. It's bursting out of me.
I know. I am as well, mate. I am as well. Now, in Hills Div 1 last weekend, we had the local derby that hasn't happened for a while because Bridgie have been playing in the Country League. Mount Lofty played Bridgie at Mount Lofty. I went down and had a bit of a look because my local side, Ironbank, they have combined with the Bridgewater boys for the junior competition, and they're called the Iron Raiders. And they were playing against the Mount Lofty juniors in the morning, so I went down with the dog, took the dog for a walk, down to the local footy, have a bit of a look, and of course, there's controversy at the end of a game, isn't there? I don't know what it is about when you umpire sport and people know know you as an umpire. There's always something that happens, and they want to get your opinion, your feedback on it.
And also, now that you're a podcast celebrity going to watch the people play, they know.
I suppose.
I
suppose.
Well, that's part of what we're out there doing is going out and watching the sport.
Yeah. So we had like in the under 16s, it was a really close game all game.
Yep.
Mount Lofty were just behind, and they were coming down the hill at Mount Lofty. And if anyone knows Mount Lofty Oval, it is a hill, and it's a big advantage to be coming down the hill in the last quarter. And they were, I think, 4 points down, or maybe 2 points down, I think. The Iron Raiders were hanging on to their slender, going up the hill and pushing really hard, but Mount Lofty just were attacking. And one of my mates who I played cricket with, Coco Clements, I can mention him. I don't think he'll mind being mentioned because there was definitely nothing wrong on his behalf. He was goal umpiring, and another mate who I played, well, not cricket with, but footy against, Bruce Dawes, was umpiring, and he's a Hills Footy League official umpire. He was centre umpiring, and there was a kick out of a pack from a Mount Lofty boy, and all the Iron Raiders boys reckon they all touched it. I couldn't hear anything standing off the field. They reckon they touched it, and the ball goes through the goals. Coco's there, goal umpiring, going, well, I don't know if I've heard anything or not. So he has to go to the central umpire, and Bruce didn't hear anything from where he was, so he's given the all clear. So Paul had to signal a goal for Mount Lofty.
And then, boom.
And then the siren goes, and then there was controversy that the siren had gone before the kick happened, but Bruce didn't hear it. And, oh, my goodness, it was all on for young and old. But anyway, I think being there on the sideline, and the Iron Raiders boys probably won't like me saying this, but I think that everything happened the way it should have happened. And Bruce, if he doesn't hear the siren, he can't call the end of the game. And that's when the game finishes, when the central umpire hears the siren go.
Yeah.
So it's not when
It's
it
the same
actually
as netball,
goes.
isn't it? It's when he blows his whistle, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the whistle ends the game.
Yeah, correct.
So, yeah, not the siren, it's
Yeah.
the whistle that ends the game.
And it's just, that happened in AFL a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
didn't it?
Yeah.
The siren went, but nobody heard it.
Yeah, correct. And they didn't know what to do.
No.
Because
That was
there's all this
controversy
footage
too,
and
wasn't it?
yeah,
The result of the game. I think it got changed, didn't it, during the week?
I think it
one?
might have
Yeah,
actually.
I think it did. It got
Yeah,
changed.
because of the technology,
Yeah.
they can
Yeah.
change it
Yeah.
because they knew it was wrong.
Yeah.
But in this instance, I think everything was done the way it should have been done.
Karma.
It was just bad luck for that the Iron Raiders boys didn't get the points.
Yeah,
But anyway,
bad luck.
getting back to the Div 1,
Yep.
the A grade, Mount Lofty took care of Bridgie by 6 goals. Onkers had Lobe come and visit them, and Lobe beat them by 15 goals. Lobe is sitting second, and Onkers are just off the pace at 6th. So, and then you got Harndorf played lowly. Harndorf top of the table, Mount Barker down the bottom.
Was that a points spree?
Well, no, 1922 to 4-4 at Harndorf, but then again, the ovals up there are pretty wet at the moment, so yeah, it was probably a pretty good win. Blackwood got back in the winning margins, but they beat Nambemma by 2 goals, so Blackwood cemented their spot at 4th, and Uradla 1910 defeated Echunga 7-1. Echunga started off the year full of promise, and they're just dropping off just a little, so a shout out to the boys at Echunga there. I'm sure they'll rally around and get back to it.
Yep.
Now, what we were talking about before, our big announcement, is next week there is the Iron Bank having a opening of their new change rooms. And I reckon all visiting sides will be pretty happy to hear about this.
Did they?
Because
did they connect the hot water up to the visiting showers?
Yeah, they were. Well, sometimes that
Maybe
didn't
not.
happen because the visiting showers were in a shed. And yeah, so I'm pretty sure all
hot
the
water
visiting
for you.
sides to Iron Bank will be really happy about this happening.
Hot water.
As well. And the Iron Bank community is really, really happy about it. They're having a club day next Saturday on the 17th. And next Thursday night
Is the big one.
We're doing selection night with Shepp and Thommo from Iron Bank Change Rooms.
A live outside broadcast.
Yeah, inside the change rooms. They have Thursday night teas there, so it will be going off, and we're going to get amongst the atmosphere.
We'll be Facebooking live, Tangles. Facebooking live.
Yeah, and
doing it
probably
live.
this
Yep.
is the first time all the Iron Bank community are hearing about this. I have rang Brandon Chaplin, the president there.
So we've got the sign off.
We've got the sign off, and he said we can do it. So we're really looking forward to getting up amongst the Iron Bank people up there and promoting their club day on the 17th of July.
Absolutely.
But looking at the results from last weekend, Iron Bank will be looking to reverse the result that they had last weekend because they lost by a couple of goals, 3 goals to Meadows. They were playing at home. So they'll be looking to bounce back. I don't know who they've got next weekend. I haven't looked at those games. But the big news in the competition over the weekend, Kersbrook and Kangarilla clashed, which were the two top of the tables, both on 8 wins and 3 losses. And Kersbrook got the points by a couple of goals. So well done to the Kersbrook boys at home. Got over the line against Kangi. Kangi were top. So, Kangi still remain top, even though Kersbrook beat them, but they've come level. And Gumaraka ventured to Birdwood and took care of the home side by 7 goals. So, took care of it pretty easy. And the Mackie boys had another win over Torrens Valley, but really tightly contested. Torrens Valley have been getting absolutely pummeled down the bottom, and they only lost by 1-10 to Mackie at home. So that would have been a pretty good effort from the Torrens Valley boys to get that close. So
and it's
well
good
done.
that they're not dropping their heads and letting the season run out. They're still competing, which is good.
Yeah, that's it. So so it'll be looking forward to getting to Iron Bank next Thursday night.
Yes.
But the last wrap up of the Amateur League. Look, me and Mick have been doing a bit of research online when we were in the bubble.
We have.
And your Amateur League is pretty well covered by a couple of podcasts.
Yep.
So I'll run through what's happening there at the moment, but we may not be touching on the Amateur League from now on. So sorry about that. But a big shout out to our first guest of the year, which was Liam Verity, who kicked 3 and got in the best players again last week. He's been killing it.
And he's third on the goal scoring list as
third
well.
on the overall goal scoring.
So racking them up.
He is doing well.
Yep.
So what's happening in amateurs, what happened in last week? Goody Saints have been absolutely belting it at the moment. They're sitting third, and they played St. Peter's, who are sitting sixth, and they gave them a lesson by about 7 goals. So they took care of them pretty easy. And the bottom of the table clash between Uni and Jets. Uni ended up getting the points by a couple of goals. Uni probably won't mind me saying that. They are sitting 7th, so they're not really bottom of the table. But the Jets, good showing, only lost by a couple. Prince Alfred played Ross Trevor. Now, Ross Trevor are sitting 4th at the moment, but their results have not been good of late. And Prince Alfred College, who are top...
A mid-season slump.
Yeah, PAOC. They took care of them by 8 goals, so a big win for PAC there, who had a couple of just nail-biting wins leading in, so they would have been pretty happy to have a convincing win over Ross Trevor there. And Paynham took care of Brighton. Now, we touched on Brighton. The old coach from PAC went to Brighton, and they were looking all right at the beginning of the year, but they've dropped down to second bottom.
That's a massive slump.
Yeah, because Paynham took care of them by 7 goals again last week. Paynham is second. And Tea Tree Gully still got another win by 6 goals over Port Districts. Port Districts are just above Brighton, and Tea Tree Gully are sitting 5th at the moment on 6 wins, 6 losses. So this week we've got the match of the round would probably be St. Peter's, Tea Tree Gully, who are 5th and 6th. So both of them will be looking to get another game. Tea Tree Gully will be looking to put another game between them and St. Peter's.
Yep.
And also Ross Trevor play Goody, but Ross Trevor they need to bring their A game against Goody, because Goody have been on fire and Ross Trevor have not been playing well for 4th. And if Ross Trevor lose this week against Goody, Tea Tree Gully win, they can take their 4th spot off them. So a bit to play for in the amateur league. So
Tea Tree Gully have been making steady progress.
Yeah, they have. They have. So they'll be looking for a win against St. Peter's at Spock, and Goody will look to be giving Ross Trevor another lesson.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's about all from the Footy Wrap.
That rounds up the Google Podcast Footy Wrap.
Thanks, Shepp.
No worries. And we move on to the Rebel Sport segment with the legend of the year. So we love to promote a good story here at the selection night with Shepp and Thommo, and the type of character that we're looking to promote is the type of character that I'm going to have a quick chat about now, Barry Howard. I've known Barry for, let's say for 35 years or so. I have been living in Adelaide for 25 of those years. So he was very, very instrumental in my youth as a young budding sportsman. I first came across Barry at Narara, Wyoming Cricket Club, where I played all my junior cricket. And he was one of the senior stalwarts. I think he was president of the club at the time when I was coming through the ranks. And when I made my senior debut, I made my senior debut when I was still eligible to play junior cricket.
Oh,
and we ended up winning the premiership that year.
Oh,
and
nice.
Yes, it was quite a big night back at the pub.
Yeah, for sure.
And I remember Barry was there giving the update to the whole club, and he knew all the players' names, their nicknames, what they'd done during the games, and the Narara Wyoming Cricket Club was the Lions, right? And he also he's a life member of Narara Wyoming Cricket Club.
Right.
He's stayed involved throughout the years now. I think he's about 78 now.
Wow, he's still involved.
Still involved.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep. So he's not as involved as he once was.
Oh, no.
But he keeps an eye on progression and how things are tracking and knows the score.
Yeah.
And he also had a massive hand in building the Lions Baseball Club, which is a winter baseball club on the Central Coast. And they were, obviously, the Lions. So there was an association there with the cricket club too. And he built the Lions Baseball Club by dragging cricketers across to play baseball in the winter. So that's how I got involved in the Lions Baseball Club too.
Okay.
And it was very, very strong when I was there. I've still got a framed picture of us winning the premiership. And there's the team. I was a catcher, obviously. You know, you're a wicket keeper, you're a catcher. It's goalkeeper. You know, that's the role that you play.
Natural progression.
Yes. So here's me. I've got my Lions ripped off because of the catcher's mask. And there's about 6 or 7 different trophies in front of us. We won everything. It was great. But back at the club, Barry would basically lead the team, the club song. He was the club song man, right? And so he would ask the clubs, "I hear a Lions roar," and the entire whole pub would roar. And it was just a magic feeling. Just thinking about it now is giving me goosebumps.
Yeah.
So I had a chat with Barry tonight, gave him a bit of a heads up on how the podcast works and what we'll having a chat. So hopefully I'll have him on the show in a couple of weeks for a 10-minute chat.
Oh, that'd be great.
And basically get the word out there about who club legends are, what it means to the clubs.
Yep.
Because we all play sport to get away from reality, but it's the club legends that make the clubs tick and
so
roll over and
get in there
build
and
the
nominate
character
your
in the
legend.
clubs. Absolutely.
And just a shout out to Ironbank.
Yep.
If they're the legends that are there, and there are a number of legends at Ironbank, Ironbank Cherry Gardens Football Club.
Yep.
And Netball Club and the Scott Creek Ironbank Cricket Club that all play out of there.
We'll see if we can sneak a few in to
and
chat.
the Ironbank Tennis Club as well.
Yep.
They're all affiliated there at the rec ground. So, look, there's legends amongst you. Look, shout out to them next week when we're there. Make sure that you get around your legends.
Yeah. Because, you know, without the club legends, the clubs dissolve.
Yeah.
People don't stay around. That's what they're the heartbeat of the club.
That's it.
You know, and they give a club character.
Yeah.
That's what I reckon, anyway.
That's it. You got to get around them. I agree, mate. I agree. Totally.
All right. We should move on to the Spotify soccer wrap-up.
The Spotify soccer wrap-up.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep. So we're getting into the heavy hitters now.
We are.
So I'll start with the women, the State League women. On the weekend, it was the National Premier League and the State League Cup round, quarterfinals. And I went and watched Modbury Vista play the Adelaide Comets. Modbury Vista are sitting first in the State League comp, and they've got about a game in hand, killing it. They've got about 4 or 5 more goals than second place and are very competitive. They played the Adelaide Comets, who are sitting middle of the table in the National Premier League. So there's the National Premier League, then the reserves, and then the State League. Quality team. And it was a tough game. And as I was watching there, the most of the game was in the Modbury Vista half.
Yep.
No,
So they were pushing to
they
score.
were defending.
Oh, they were defending.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Yep.
Soccer. I'm
Yep.
not a soccer.
Yeah. So the Comets had a really skillful midfield, and they had plenty of time in the ball, and they were only 1 up at half time.
Wow.
And I thought, and they were running downhill, so there's a bit of a slope at Modbury Vista as well.
Okay.
And with the wet weather around, it's a synthetic pitch, so it goes.
It will.
It's
drift.
slick and very
Yeah.
very fast across the surface, and tailor-made for the Comets. And Jets, not Jets, the Vista girls only being 1 down at half time did really, really well. Turning it around, they got to, I think it was about nearly 10 minutes to go before full time, and there was a bit of a hint of a handball in the box, so penalty, and I'm like, the girls have done so well. Penalty goes, ball in the back of the net, and bugger, just 2-0 down against a quality side. It's so hard to get back from there. Yeah. And then a minute or two to go, free kick just outside the box. another goal with a free
Three.
kick. So 3-0
3-0.
they lost. But for a team playing basically 2 levels up, it was a fantastic
And they were
performance.
1-0.
1-0 at half time. So the
a great
Comets
effort.
got through to the finals or the semi-finals. And so this week coming up, so just to keep it back into the State League, Modbury Jets are playing West Torrens Bacala, and that's a victory there to West Torrens at Modbury Jets. So Modbury Jets is another synthetic ground at Modbury, and that'll be good to watch. Flinders Flames are hosting Modbury Vista, and that'll be a reasonable game. They didn't play not that long ago, and it was only 1 or 2 goals difference. So
Good game.
Flinders girls will be looking to have a good performance against Modbury, who are coming off that loss. White City are playing Cove, and Cove are struggling a little bit, but they're playing White City.
White City, where are they from?
They're
Where are they based?
I think they're
Just outside the city? Have
just
I got
outside the city. You've got me, I reckon. But I think they're hosting,
You? Yeah.
and they are Frank Mitchell Park. That's their home ground.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a bottom of the table clash. Both teams will be expecting a win there. Adelaide Jaguars are playing South Adelaide. So South Adelaide are sitting third, and they will be looking to get points there too.
Sorry to throw you in it there, Mick.
That's okay. Sink or swim here. I may have sank just a little bit.
No, not at all, mate. Not at all. Never.
But now introducing the Sassel Saturday Division 1.
Yep.
And I went down to watch the Modbury Jets playing Murray Bridge. So that's just down the road from me, and that's on a grass pitch. With all the rain that we've had, the pitch was pretty waterlogged, and I was pleasantly surprised at the quality of the game. The boys moved the ball around, they dribbled, they passed, they jagged left and jagged right, and Modbury Jets beat Murray Bridge 5-0.
Wow. Big
It
win.
was a classy performance, and really surprised at how well they handled the really poor conditions.
Yeah.
It's a decent pitch, but the wet weather made it really difficult. And this weekend coming up, Bosa are playing MA Hawks, which is 6th versus 7th. And this is all Saturday Division 1. And that'll be pretty much close to a draw there. Then Old Ignatians are hosting Adelaide Titans, which is 4th versus 5th, so another tight game. So both of those games will be good to watch. Murray Bridge will be taking on USC Lions. Murray Bridge, after coming off that loss at Modbury Jets, I think will succumb again to the UCS Lions, who are sitting third. Adelaide Red Blue Eagles are playing St. Peter's, and that's 2nd versus 8th. So Adelaide Red Eagles will get the job done there. And Salisbury Villa are hosting Modbury Jets, and Modbury Jets are on fire. They've played 10, won 8 with 1 loss and 1 draw, and Salisbury are sitting bottom of the table with no wins at all. So that'll be a goal difference game there. Now, quickly we'll touch on the Elizabethan Districts competition. This weekend coming up, it's the Cup round. So it's Cup round 2, second round in the Cup. And in the Colts division, there's 2 divisions in the Colts. And so there's a few interesting games coming up. So the game of the round for me is Modbury Vista Blue versus One Tree Hill. So that's the Modbury Vista team is sitting on top of Division 1, and One Tree Hill are sitting on top of Division 2. So one of them are going out.
Yeah.
My money's on Modbury Vista. St. Augustine's.
No bias
there.
No bias
well,
there at all.
I've played One Tree Hill.
Yeah.
And I train with Modbury Vista. And no bias, but I think the quality of the players in Modbury Vista will match evenly with the exuberance of One Tree Hill.
Okay.
And the quality will overrun their exuberance, I think. St. Augustine's are playing Tea Tree Gully Wanderers. So that's another second versus second. So St. Augustine's are second on the Div 1 table, and Tea Tree Gully Wanderers are sitting second in Div 2. St. Augustine's are a quality team. I watched them on the weekend playing Parafield Gardens, and they lost to Parafield Gardens, and they're going to be looking to come back for a win. They've got a boy, and I say a boy lightly. He would be 6'4", 6'5", an African boy who would be 105 kilograms. He's a huge man, and brisk. He is a good quality player, and he plays for St. Augustine's, and one to look out for, I think.
Yeah,
he's got a future, absolutely. Big, strong boy. And the rest of the games, I think, are going to be quite even. Tea Tree Gully Rovers are playing Tea Tree Gully Strikers, two Tea Tree Gully teams in Div 1. They had an interesting game on the weekend. They played each other last weekend. I think there was a red card, and I think there was a fisticuff. Bit of a violence.
Bit of nastiness going on.
Bit of intra-club rivalry.
Oh, wow.
I think there could have been some words said, and the boys got a bit over the top.
Good fun.
It is good fun. I'm kind of a bit disappointed I'm not out there watching that one. but it's going to be, the stakes are going to be higher this weekend because whoever loses is out of the cup. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So last weekend was a round game.
Yeah.
This weekend is the cup.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Parafield Gardens are playing Modbury Vista White. So Parafield Gardens are fourth in Div 1. Modbury Vista White are sitting third in Div 2. So that's a that's a tight one. Parahills United are playing Parahills West. Parahills United will get the job done there, I would expect. They're in Division 1 and Parahills West are in Division 2, sitting down the bottom of the ladder. And Tea Tree Gully United are playing Elizabeth Downs, both Division 2 teams, and I would expect Tea Tree Gully to win that one.
Yeah.
Now, what we do need to quickly touch upon is the SANFL Inclusive League. Well, I think we're going to start to have a look at that. That's a 5-team competition played on Saturdays. The Saturday just gone, we had Eastern Park play Christie's Beach, with Eastern Park 13-13, 91 beating Christie's Beach 2-2-14.
So we're talking AFL here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Kenilworth played Salisbury 6-4-40 to 3-1-19, and the Goody Saints had the bye. This weekend they're having the round off, but there's I guess, how would you say it? There's an exhibition game this weekend at Woodville Oval.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so if you can get along, it's after the main game.
Yep.
So I think it kicks off at 4:30. It'll be an exhibition game. It's going to be broadcast live on Facebook, and I'll be there commentating.
You're commentating?
Yes.
You have put your hand up,
Yes, I
mate.
did put
Well
my hand
done.
up.
Excellent.
I'll be giving some, let's say, special comments. I think I'll be potentially a boundary rider or lending an assistant to the main commentator. So,
and just explain about the inclusivity footy.
So it's intellectual disability.
Okay.
And I think obviously there's differing levels of disability in the teams. But this exhibition game is a selection of players from the
whole
different
5
teams.
clubs.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
wow.
So it'll be a really good day, I think, because hopefully there'll be a crowd there for them to cheer them on.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
And
so who are they playing under the guise of? Do you know? Is it like Crows versus Port, or you don't know?
not sure yet.
We'll wait and see.
Yes, I'm definitely learning as I'm going.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
Yes, Tangles.
It's players from the state academy playing against each other.
Oh,
nice.
okay.
Yep. So Yeah. So they're all from the academy.
Yeah.
And it's leading up to a interstate game in October.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
So, yes.
Thank you, Tangles.
Thanks, Tangles. He doesn't like to get himself involved on air, but sometimes he just needs a little push. But if you're in the area, come along to Woodville Oval and cheer on the players.
Yeah, for sure.
They will love it, absolutely.
And
they
good for yourself getting involved, Mick. Well
Cheers,
done, mate.
no worries. Happy to promote. That's what it's all about,
And
promoting the weekend sport.
And
you know?
Ozsport Radio for getting involved as
Yeah,
well. That's
absolutely.
Great. It's a feather in your cap. Well done, Tangles.
So we're nearly halfway through the season. I think we're in some parts of the seasons we're well and truly halfway through.
Oh,
We're coming,
more. Yeah.
coming up to semi-finals. All the teams are starting to get looking at the tables, and if they're not listening to Shepp and Thommo's podcast, they don't know what's going on in the tables. So you can hear it here. But semi-finals aren't too far away. Some cricket clubs are having pre-season starting already.
Yeah.
I know the veterans have just about started.
Yeah, I've seen they've in indoor nets. Yeah. I saw some posts on Facebook. They were already getting out there and bowling the ball down. I had put out the feelers to Fleurieu, and Cardi's going to get back to me in the next couple of days. He's a bit busy.
Right.
He's an accountant, so end of the financial year.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't have rang him at this time, so sorry, Cardi, if you're listening.
What's more important?
Getting me on board or?
People's tax or sport? Come on.
Yeah, so obviously we got semi-finals coming up, and we got cricket.
Yeah, it's all happening.
Yeah, it is.
But I guess the one thing with the change in the seasons is that coming up to the summer, we are looking for more correspondence.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've touched base with the Iceland cricket.
You have?
I have. I've got a response.
Unbelievable,
yes.
mate. Unbelievable.
So I'm going to be hopefully having a talk to the Secretary of Iceland Cricket soon.
Wow.
And with any luck, we can get some interaction with Iceland.
Yeah.
And Iceland are famous in the cricket world. They've got a world record. They've got the most northern cricket ground on the planet. And before, I guess, in the last 10, 15 years, with a lot of movement around the world with people and cultures, and a lot of people from the subcontinent have moved into Iceland, and no cricket was played there. And much like Bradley in northern New South Wales built a baseball ground, Field of Dreams style, these guys from the subcontinent have done the same thing. They've built themselves a cricket ground. They've had it opened by the Iceland Prime Minister.
It's a great story.
It's the best story of all time. I love
story.
it. And hopefully we can get some international guests on the show.
Yeah, for sure.
And give them some love as well.
That'd be great.
And but I think one of the other things to be aware of is that we've got some massive interviews coming up.
We have.
We're not going to give away any secrets on that yet.
No.
But definitely stay tuned to the show.
Yeah.
Because there's some serious work happening. And this is as a result of me and Thommo going into the podcasting bubble.
Yeah, that's it.
We went away for a reason. We polished our shoes. We tightened our laces. We did some serious work, and we're going to
did some serious digging, and we're
right.
going to get some good interviews out of it.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I'm sure our friend over there in Ireland in the cricket world, Mary Waldron, would be happy to join us by phone later on in the year as well.
David Jenkins and Mary together.
Oh, David Jenkins.
What a pairing.
Oh, mate, the historian extraordinaire. Yeah, for sure. That's a great idea.
Yep.
We might be able to...
And that's why we have the big guests
through.
to help us out. Thanks, Bruce.
That's an excellent idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And thank you, Bruce, for coming in tonight. You've been
Absolute pleasure.
Absolutely entertaining tonight, and it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks,
Thank you.
mate. And we'll get you back on.
Absolutely.
Do some netball updates.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
As I said, been around the state a couple of times, so I'll get some results from other areas and some of the promotions of certainly some of the country areas because netball is huge.
When you've got some news for us.
That sounded like a...
you live so far away from where we record, hey?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it's around the corner.
Absolutely.
That sounded like an interview, like a question. Could I be on the show more regularly? I think you've definitely...
No, I'll do some research first and I'll come back through Thommo.
Absolutely.
All good, mate.
No worries. Thanks to the show sponsors, Viva Teamwear, Rebel Sport and Blue Steel Cricket. Thank you, Tangles.
Yep.
And thank you, Thommo.
Thanks, Shepp.
Thank you. And if you guys like the show, just tell your mates.
Yep. And tune in next week for sure with our live show coming from Ironbank Cherry Gardens Footy Club. Up there in the hills, it'll be nice and chilly.
It'll be nice and chilly,
but it'll be great atmosphere, and they are really excited about these new change rooms open.
Absolutely.
There was a lot of work that went into getting them done, and we'll talk to a few people around that next week.
No worries. Looking forward to a huge show next week. So it's going to be an awesome show, I think. So hopefully we can do it well for the Ironbank community.
I'm sure we'll do it proud, mate.
Absolutely.
All good.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.
Talk to you next week.